Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who tuning to these videos. Alright, so I want to do this video on this article that I was reading. It's pretty much over there, if you don't know, there's this device called the Iron Dome over there in the land of Israel right now. With those so-called Jews. They're currently inhabiting, and they have their military, the IDF, and all of Americans' taxpayers' money is going to all these things so that they're, protected and well kept. If you don't know much about the Iron Dome, you can go ahead and Google it. But you can, I'm just gonna say real quickly that it's pretty much just like a device that intercepts any type of missiles that are going into the land of Israel. Like if you know the things that are going on right now, that place is getting hit with rockets a lot. So that's why they're putting this thing. It also I want to make this video because I want to say that the ultimate plague that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to send to Babylon and key points of the earth are going to be thermonuclear missiles. The same way that Sodom and Gomorrah went out is the same way that this wicked kingdom is going to go out. And the land of Israel is going to get hit with these thermonuclear missiles. I'm just going to go into the article because it's pretty much it's coming out that this device, because it's high tech, it's got high radio frequencies, so that it's able to intercept the missiles before they get into the area, that it's causing the soldiers that work next to it cancer. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead into the article. It says Israel's Iron Dome causing cancer among soldiers, reports claim. It says a group of Israeli soldiers have claimed that their military service at the anti-missile Iron Dome defense system has given them cancer, according to an investigative report by Yidath Aharnath. Alright, so it says at least 10 Israeli soldiers in their 20s and 30s said at the end of their military service or after they were discharged that they had developed cancer after their stint with the Iron Dome unit. They called the Iron Dome, which intercepts short-range missiles, the toaster. And you would think, if this is the only way that they can, be protected, that it would be the safest and most, plausible way, But ultimately, this thing intercepts, small rockets, But ultimately, like any type of missile defense system that Esau has, it's not going to prevail, And then I was thinking too, like let's humor the notion that Esau has something that can go up against, the Lord's missiles that he's going to have, get shot from the four corners of the earth to Babylon and, various places. We could humor that notion, but you could see that even their little small rocket defense system isn't suitable it's not compatible, basically. I forget the words that I'm trying to say, but it's basically it won't be able to function properly, because it's giving the people, cancer. You think this thing is supposed to protect you, this is the thing that's going to kill you in a more gruesome way than a missile would, But so I'm gonna read back, the rest of the article. It says, when you're near a radar, you're literally feeling your body boiling from the inside out. If you try to imagine what happens to food when it is in the microwave, it is like that. You feel the heat coming in waves, said Jonathan Haimovich, a former Israeli soldier. So ultimately, these wicked elites, the so-called Jews, who go back to the line of Esau, Edom, none of them are going to be able to escape, the Lord's judgment. Whether it be, radiation from the toaster, it's the nickname they gave it, or if it's, they go to a far away island or into a bunker, they're not going to escape the Lord's judgment because, every day, the Lord's judgments are passed. So there's no escape from the Lord, because his angels are encamped around about. They see all the wickedness that's happening, and pretty much justice is going to be it's going to manifest in these last days. When those thermonuclear missiles hit these main cities, it's mainly America, which is Babylon in the scriptures. And there's no defense system, there's no EMP bomb that's going to be able to hinder the Lord's plagues. from the thermonuclear missiles, to the elect, getting the spiritual powers, to this word going out, because that's spiritual power in itself. This devil can't hinder this truth. It's spiritual warfare, and the only thing Esau can be good at is in a carnal warfare. But then ultimately he was given that sword, the blessing of the sword, by Yahweh Shai, when he was Isaac through the reincarnation. But so it's going to come a time where we're not going to need Esau anymore, and we're pretty much going to inherit his land, because he's ultimately, one, he's going to go into captivity for 1,000 years. Then after that, his term is served, he's going to be exterminated. So there's no escape. I'm just going to go ahead and read a few more from this. I'm not going to try to read this guy's name, but it says a 31-year-old had worked on the Iron Dome. After almost 2 years of service in the Air Force, at the age of 22, doctors discovered that he had a tumor. A ball in the neck the size of a ping pong ball sat on the main artery and actually caused my blood flow to stop. I underwent chemotherapy and radiation. Hamivoich told Yeda Aharnath. Some soldiers have already filed lawsuits against Israel's Ministry of Defense. The Israeli army has denied any connection between their service at the Iron Dome and contracting cancer. Contracting cancer. So that's pretty much all I can read from this article, because you pretty much get the gist of what this article is that it's here. It's not going to be able to stand when Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai sends their plagues down here. And that ultimate plague being the thermonuclear missiles. All those arrows are going to hit their target. And even though this is a small thing, I don't think this thing intercepts intercontinental ballistic missiles. But Esau was at the conference rooms trying to devise devices so that they could. But ultimately, none of them are going to succeed in Yahweh Shai's return. All right, so I'm going to read this in 2nd Ezra 16, and I'm going to go ahead and start verse 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in the mouth. It says, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So like I humored the notion, let's say that Esau does have something, but then ultimately it's going to give him cancer. It's not gonna succeed in what it was built for. So even just me humoring that thing, you can tell like the way I'm speaking. I don't believe that Esau has anything, that's able to intercept these missiles, properly. Like it's gonna be 0% success rate, because pretty much the angels are gonna make sure that those missiles are guided to their targets. All right, so and this is faithful and true. The Lord's plagues, there's no way you can escape them. So verse 3 says, Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all their faithfulness shall die in their unfaithfulness. So okay, I meant to read verse 16, or sorry, chapter 16. All right, so this is 2nd Ezra 16, verse 1. It says, Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with clothes of sack and hair. Bewail your children, and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? So Esau's got the blessing of the sword, but there's going to come a time where he's going to be brought low. Everything that he's had is going to be pretty much given to his brother Jacob. Just as when they were born, Jacob held the heel of Esau, symbolizing that he's going to take him down of his rulership. And reading verse 3 again, it says, "A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back?" So none of these missile defenses systems are going to work. No matter how much money you can throw at this problem, the Lord is ultimately going to send these missiles. Nothing's going to prevail in that day. So verse 4 says, "A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it?" And none of Esau's mighty men are going to be able to. If you can number any of their mighty men, and they're all carnal men. None of them are spiritual. They don't understand that they're going against the Heavenly Father, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, his son Yahweh Shai. So ultimately, the plagues are, I'm going to continue on verse 5. It says, plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? And Esau being the basest man, he's not going to be able to stand in that day. Verse 6, it says, may any man drive away an hungry lion in the woods? Or may any one quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. And verse 13 says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrow that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So nothing pretty much Esau can do, is going to be able to quench these arrows. Like I was saying, money, any type of missile defense system, they're not going to prevail in that day. Ultimately, they're going to get hit with thermonuclear fire, just as Sodom and Gomorrah. And it's funny too, it's like comedic, poetic justice, because like their missile defense system that's supposed to deter away these things is giving them the very same thing, the judgment, the plague that they were set up to deter away. These people are getting cancer from the toaster. All right, so this is Zechariah 14 verse 12. Speaking about how it's going to go down, because those thermonuclear missiles that aren't going to miss their mark are going to hit these people, just as it was in Sodom and Gomorrah, just as it was in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it's Zechariah 14 verse 12. It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. So when this is talking about, the ones who fought against Jerusalem, I'm speaking about the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans who are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Whose line goes back to the Hebrew Israelites, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then even within that, I'm only speaking about, the hopeful elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3 that's going to be delivered in these last days. It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. So this is what Esau's got to look forward to. And like I said, there ain't no money, ain't no missile defense system, ain't no amount of taxes that he can pull out of the people's pockets going to be able to defend him in that day. And so I'm going to read this last precept in 2 Peter 3 verse 10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So this isn't talking about, like a place underground where people get burnt up and poked for 1 billion years. This is talking about the thermonuclear missiles. It's going to say that the earth is going to shake to and fro when these missiles hit. So I'm going to read verse 11. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And, this is pretty much speaking to the Israelites in his ministry. The hopeful elect, to continue this ministry, to preach and prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom, which is known as Babylon in the scriptures, and to pretty much, tell these nations that, our power, Yahweh, and his son, our big brother, Yahweh Shai, is coming back, to deliver us and to send judgments to you. So that's the end of this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakhakwadash, and Shalom Akim.